There's a running joke on this channel. Well, it's not even a joke now. It's more of a statement that the PS5, it has no games, which in all honesty, it kind of still doesn't. What are you waiting for, bro? Hollow Knight's Silk Song? Yeah, good luck with that one. But this plague of no games seems to have spread to basically any kind of media now because there's no games, there's no films. It seems right now that no one is actually making anything anymore, nothing new at least. Like for the past 10 to 15 years, Disney have just been pumping out slop in the form of these live action remakes of beloved animated films because as we know, Disney don't really do animation anymore, not hand-drawn animation, maybe for, you know, subsidiaries or like kids channels, but for their mainstream films, unless it's a small segment in a film, it's pretty much all CG. And I don't think anyone has actually said that these live action films are better than the hand-drawn originals. I don't even know why a company that is so profitable and respected can't really put two and two together and realize that people don't want these live action remakes. I mean, no, I do know the answer because kids that are sat at home scrolling TikTok on their iPad or playing Roblox, the parents probably look at them and think, oh, our child, their brain might be rotting. Okay, let's take them into the big dark room in the theater so they watch the big screen instead. And this is where Disney makes most of their money. It's parents and it's kids because kids have the most amount of free time and parents have the most amount of money. So you're basically getting two different levels of consumers for the price of one ticket. And again, like in the older Disney films, sorry, I'm going to be a boomer reminiscing a little bit here. There was this kind of like magic that just can't be recaptured with CG. And unfortunately, one of the most recent remake slops to come out is the Lilo and Stitch film. The original came out in 2002, and now we've got the 2025 remake, and it just somehow does everything wrong. Like, if they copied the film, the original film, to a T, and then just put CGI slop everywhere, I think everyone would be like, okay, it's fine. It's like a 6 out of 10. Who cares? But they changed so many plot elements and added in so many new ones for basically no reason whatsoever. And as you can expect, Disney have just completely butchered this release. Man, I don't understand why everything has to be live action now. All we're doing is just circling over and over. Like, dude, I miss the old animated Disney films so much. I think the last one they made was The Princess and the Frog. Do you remember how good, like, old Disney films were? Like, do you remember Atlantis? Like, Atlantis was not, like, a great film, but the art style and stuff for it was, like, absolutely incredible. Like, some of the shots and stuff in this film were, like, so good. I remember in the original Lilo and Stitch, he was evil, and then he kind of feels bad, and he, you know, it's the whole, like, you know, like, what was the word that Stitch says again? Ohana. It's like, Ohana means family. Like that. Ohana means family. Did you know, by the way, in Lilo and Stitch, there was a 9/11 scene they had to cut? Oh, in the original, it was just actually a plane, and then they replaced it with like an alien ship. I can definitely see why they removed that. Definitely. So one of the favorite characters in the Lilo and Stitch saga was Jumbo. He was this, like, you know, quite portly character, and he had like a bit of a thick Russian accent. He was basically a mad scientist who created Stitch, as well as a bunch of other experiments. And they didn't really seem to adapt his character that well. They just got like Zach Galifianakis, the guy who did that funny laughing video that you see online all the time. So they slapped a name tag on Zach saying, hello, my name is Jumba. And then they basically called it a day. In the original film, he was this like comedic antagonist. He was really incompetent, but then he eventually saw like the error of his ways, that one of his experiments, Stitch, could actually live on his own with a family. And he's like, maybe I was the bad guy all along. And, you know, he kind of does a 180. It's not the best character arc imaginable. Again, it was a kid's film. But at the same time, at least there was an arc there. But in the remake, they just make him evil. He doesn't ever seem to realize that he's evil. And there's no kind of redemption arc there whatsoever. To make things worse, Jumba looks like Zach Galifianakis. Jumba being the main villain is one of Lilo and Stitch's worst changes. With Stitch turning good and learning how to love, thanks to his relationship with Lilo, Jumba is meant to be a parallel in this arc, with him redeemed and him becoming part of the Stitch family. What? He has no redemption arc in the film? They just keep him as a bad guy? Are they mashing up codeine and Fent at the same time? Maybe a bit of lean? Like, what is that? That was the entire point of the film. Literally, everyone makes up at the end of the film, and even the big Rhino guy or whatever his name was. There's way too much art of him, by the way. Even he turned around and he was like, okay, you know what? You keep Stitch. Fine, we're done. Why Lilo and Stitch's live-action remake made Jumba a villain? It may have to do with Gantu's absence. You don't have him in the film. He is not in the film. Not watching. DOA, 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 DOA. So you don't have the bad guy in the film. So you make one of the characters that becomes good into the bad guy. Holy writing, man. Like, all you had to do is just remake the film beat by beat in live action. And then, I don't know, you probably get like, who's a big actor, right? You just get Tom Holland and Zendaya in the film. That's all you gotta do. That's all you gotta do. And the worst thing is, it doesn't even seem like the cast and crew are actually in unity with Disney's like executive decisions with the film. There's been a lot of interviews with people behind the scenes, and you can just see that they're outright angry that Disney did not want to keep this loyal to the original film. I cannot imagine the crisis going on in the PR room right now. Honestly, all they're probably thinking, the Disney execs, is like, okay, this was quite bad, but it wasn't Snow White bad. So we're making some progress here, guys. Although, to be fair, even saying that, I'm sure they don't even care, because at the end of the day, corporate overlords, all they care about is money in, money out. And at the minute, Lilo and Stitch is already going to beat out the original Lilo and Stitch 2002 film in gross earnings overall. Apparently, Lilo and Stitch blows up with 183 million. Mission Impossible? That long R franchise? They didn't even get half of what it, I swear, the power of kids and their parents. The power of family. So true. The power of getting your family to the cinema. And yet the movie earns more than the original on its opening day, and Disney learns nothing. It made 273 million. This has only been out 3 days, and it's already made 138 million. So it's going to beat it. It will beat it. It will 100% beat it.
If you're comparing the Lilo and Stitch movies from 2002 and 2025, you have to unironically factor inflation.
I have to factor in what? Wait, what's this? Disney needs a new PR coach?
Nobody hates the live-action Lilo and Stitch quite as much as the people who made the live-action Lilo and Stitch. That's the only explanation I can think of for this absolute train wreck of a press run this movie has had.
What press run? I've heard no. I didn't even know that this film came out until like today.
Original Jumba has this kind of almost Russian accent. Did you?
Did you see his response? Like, he's already shaking his head. Like the laser pointer is like darted at his head from the sniper 2 blocks away from the Disney execs.
Accent. Did you?
These days accents are maybe the PC.
Accents are tricky, but you've literally got Florence Pugh, a British woman in Thunderbolts, doing a heavy Russian accent.
For making this bad idea of a movie.
I can't really do voices anyway, so maybe that was what it was.
Is that Zach Galifianakis? Is that, or is it just a guy that really looks like him?
Zach, don't tell people.
Oh, it is Zach. Oh, he looks really healthy, to be fair. Yeah, fair play to him. He actually looks really healthy.
You can't do voices when interviewing about a movie you voice act in.
She was one of
Yeah, the Hangover guy. He actually looks really good.
It just didn't work so well in live action.
The main antagonist of the...
Do you know how many people that work at Disney in your art department, bro, that are like furries or closet furries? Do you realize that? That would have been like the easiest thing in the world to produce. All you had to do, why make a change that just makes the story worse? They gave Lilo and Stitch a 1 star, bro. Disney's latest unnecessary remake is a monstrosity. It does a fine job of transferring it into a 3D live-action environment, not monkeying around with a near-perfect cartoon design. The fuzzy blue creature, his Muppet with teeth mouth, and his alien bunny ears still intact, still in Jaws. Kids will love him as ever. The movie around him, however, is ghastly. What a horrible word to use there. Is that an interview with the kid and then... Oh, that's just a puppet, right? They ran out of money. It's just a puppet on a chair. It's like, you imagine the last 20 minutes of Lilo and Stitch. It's like, shit, the budget. I don't know. Just get some puppet. Put some animatronics in it. Five Nights at Freddy's. The aliens Jumba and Pleakley appear human for most of the movie. Holy dropped. That is terrible. That, like, the fact that they appear human for most of the film, what's the point? It's over. They made it woke. They made it woke. Hang on a minute. They removed cross-dressing Pleakley. It's literally reverse woke. They're appeasing to the old heads scared of women or drag queens. Oh, true, actually. That's a good point. I vaguely remember that. Oh my god. Could you imagine if this made it into the film? Like, Twitter would actually have a meltdown. The big Disney company. They're trying to groom my kids into being trans. I mean, I don't even mind that they removed that. It's more just the fact that it's like, you've literally just removed the main bad guy. Yeah. slop. Somehow Disney seemed to miss the entire point of the original film by basically rewriting the entire original Lilo and Stitch ending. Originally, Lilo and Stitch was about family, growing closer together with the people that you care about. But Disney seemed to throw all of this away in the name of go and pursue your dreams, forget about your family, which results in Nani, the older sibling, basically giving away Lilo and then moving away to study marine biology.
Lilo and Stitch live action spoilers, I guess. What do you mean Nani gives up Lilo? What do you mean Nani gives up Lilo and leaves Hawaii?
Holy millennial. But yeah, that's such weird writing. Why would they do that? That just goes against like everything that the original film had in its intentions. That doesn't make any sense. Wait, someone's saying there was like US government propaganda in the film? Oh my god.
Lilo says to Nani, "You're so smart, you should join the Marines." That's an actual line from the movie.
Okay, that's funny. There's this guy called Steve Reviews. He does like pretty decent reviews talking about stuff like this.
They've once again taken some creative liberties that differ from the original, and they've once again made it so much worse.
See, they kept like the main bad guy woman that was keeping Stitch prisoner. I forget her name entirely. But they've kept that design. That design is pretty accurate. I would say that's pretty accurate, to be fair. Like, they've got that, like, spot on, I'd say. That's a really good, like, turn into live action. Imagine how terrible a live action Tom and Jerry would look. Do not give them ideas, bro. They will do it. Do not give them ideas.
I think Stitch actually looks really good in this. Even with Chris Sanders, who voiced Stitch in the original, once again coming back to reprise his role.
Okay, that's good. That's really cool that they got the same voice actor for Stitch back.
Yeah.
Stitch voiced by Chris Pratt.
That's about all the good I can think of. There's a lot more cringe humor and interactions between the characters. It very much has that Marvel humor kind of vibe to it. The humor itself also feels a lot more childish.
That looks like Dame to Casita. What is that? Oh my god, man. That looks terrible.
Such as Stitch farting in a punch bowl.
That's hilarious.
Oh, and you know that line in the original where Lilo tells David,
"Don't worry. She likes your butt and fancy hair." I know. I read her diary.
Well, now they've changed that to, "I've read her text messages." Because you see
That's like the most zoomified way to update a film. They check their text messages.
This isn't your dad's film. This is the modern film. Even though mobile phones were already a thing back in 2002. They even make a TikTok reference towards the end of the film.
Why, man? We had this in Shrek as well. Did we just get these like boardroom people that just sit there? It's like, oh, what do the kids like? TikTok, okay, everyone's on TikTok. We need a TikTok joke now. And the worst thing is, people like us will complain about that. But like the kids in the cinemas that are like 9 years old, they don't care. It's like, haha, I use TikTok.
Jumba and Bleakley are now played by live-action humans.
I just think as well, one thing that we're really going to miss out on is how expressive the 2D animated stuff is. You can't get that with 3D, you can't, because it's trying to use the constraints of like the actual real world and exist in that. It just looks so like less expressive in comparison.
As in the original, it's quite comical at how they are obviously aliens in weak disguises. In fact, it's even commented on at one point.
Head looks swollen.
Actually, she's just ugly.
But in the live action, where the world is now real, it's a lot harder to sell this and make it seem
That's so ugly, man.
believable that these two could blend in.
Yeah, that's the detective or something.
Actors don't actually
Works with like the police or something like that.
offer anything new to the film. For example, in the original, we had Cobra Bubbles, who was the social worker, who later...
Oh, he was a social worker. Oh, that's right. Oh, that's why his character was so funny, because you thought he was like CIA or something, but he's just like a social worker.
turned out to be a former CIA agent.
I will never forgive them for making Jumba the villain of...
Just exposed myself as a fake fan. Can you tell I haven't watched the film? Can you tell I haven't watched the original film for like 15 years? Can you tell? Anyways.
Where we now have a pure social worker character, and Bubbles is now just a CIA agent. And I really don't get why, as it now makes him far less involved in the story. The whole subplot of Nani wanting to go away and study I swear was barely mentioned in the whole film. Wasn't the whole point that Nani was fighting tooth and nail just so that her and Lilo could remain together? And they do try and backpedal this a bit with the whole, oh well, Nani is able to use the portal gun to visit Lilo while she's away, so technically they're still together.
Oh, I see. Go and do what you want to achieve your dreams. Just have a portal gun. Very good story there, Disney. No, that's a good one.
I'll admit, Jumba's sudden willingness to help in the original does kind of happen in an instant. In fact, the film even jokes about this.
You expect me to help you just like that? Just like that? Ugh. Fine.
But there were signs early on that he wasn't essentially a bad person. And so even though I say his jump to full-on hero felt a little rushed in the original, I'd say his jump to full-on villain feels even more jarring in this version, as he is still presented as much of the same Jumba in the first half, even with him and Pleakley still having that comedy duo aspect to them. So when he suddenly starts behaving super sinister, it just feels out of nowhere. They do kind of hint at him having some abandonment issues from his past, which is quickly uttered in a few lines of dialogue. So my guess is that if they do get a sequel, which I really hope they don't, but if they do, then I'm assuming they're going to set him up for some sort of future redemption arc.
We're running out of film. We're just remaking stuff. Why didn't you guys go watch Men by Alex Garland, the A24 film? Then we would have got a new film. Don't go watch Men. It's terrible.